Welcome to this training video on how to update and manage your rates in the calendar manually. The first thing you will need to do is ensure that you have the dates at the top correct, the from and the to date, and then click the view button. We then scroll down to our rate control section. We can now see that we have our rooms with the rates listed underneath. And we have several columns here. So the first column is our derived column. So if there are any rates that have been derived from another rate, it will show here. As you can see, we have some with a B and a D. So B is for base rate. And when you hover over the B, it will highlight all of the derived rates that are linked to the base rate. And the D stands for derived, and likewise it will highlight the base rate that it is linked to. We then have our minimum length of stay column, so you can see at a glance all of the rates and their minimum length of stay. We then have our sale period, which if we come down to the bottom, we can see that we have a sale period restriction on this 5-night stay. So you can see that it is closed out, and that is because the sale period is inactive. If it was active, it would show as all open, and then once it had closed, it would show red like you can see now. We then have our global change column. So ticking the global change tick box means that it will update everything that you have opened in this calendar view. So to make updates, you have the option to either simply click one by one and make the changes one by one. You can hold down your control key and select as many as you would like. You can also click the first date in the row and then hold down your shift key and select the last date, and it will highlight everything in between. And then finally we have our global change, which you can select the days of the week up the top, or you can select all, click your select button, and it will highlight everything that you have opened in the calendar. How to override your rates. So this is very simple. All you have to do is select the dates that you wish to override, type in the rate that you want to override it to, and then click the set rate button. Now it is important to note that you can't override a derived rate because it is pulling the rates from a base rate. So if you wish to update a derived rate, you would have to find the base rate and update that first, and then it will override all of the derived rates accordingly. So for example, this is our base rate. We can override the rate here. Click the set rate button, and you will notice that when we do that, the two derived rates, which are also highlighted, are going to change at the same time. When you click on a derived rate, you will see that the set rate button is grayed out and you are not able to override the rate. You can override your minimum length of stay by date on any particular rate that you would like. It doesn't matter if it is a base rate or a derived rate. All you have to do is simply select the dates that you wish to override, type in the new minimum length of stay in the white text box, and then click your purple Set MLOS button. It is important that you take note of the minimum length of stay that has been set in the original rate, because you don't want to be updating, for example, a 5-night stay on a 5-night rate that is already there. Just as with our room types, we can also open and close our rates out on a rate level. To do that, we simply click on the date we wish to close and click the close out button. It is very simple to open it again. You simply click on the date and then click open. If you click on a rate and you click the clear button, it will clear the rate completely, which is effectively the same as a closeout. However, you are not able to bring the rate back again should you choose to undo your action. You would have to try and remember what the rate is. So we do recommend that you use just the closeout and the open, unless you're wishing to clear the period completely and not want to go back. Finally, our last little feature that we have on this rate control section is our note button. Now on our studio best available rate, we want to override the default value proposition for this particular weekend. So we highlight the dates and then we click note. We can now see that the original default value proposition is here, so we know what it did say. Once we click in the box to start typing, it will override this message with the new message, and then outside of the dates it will go back to the original default. Once we have saved our note, we can see a little note icon in the top corner, and it will also show you what note you have put there when you hover over the date. Once we go outside of that, it will go back to the original. There are many things that you can do in the calendar manually. Now that you know most of the features, I'm going to give you an example of what you can do. So we're going to override our rate and minimum length of stay for our Christmas period. The first thing we need to do is select our dates from the View panel and click our View button. We then come down to our rate control section. So for the first example, we have our studio room, which has all standalone rates. Now I want to set a 5-night minimum stay for $200 per night for the entire Christmas period. So the first thing I'm going to do is see that I have a 5-night stay already created. So I can use this one without having to create a new one. I'm going to first close out the rates that are not a 5-night stay, and then click the close out button. So now I have all of my rates closed out except for my 5-night stay. Now I'm going to override the rate to a higher rate. So I select the global change checkbox and then click select for all of the days. I then type in my higher rate and click my set rate button. Now as you can see, for the entire period of Christmas and New Year, we have only one rate, which is a 5-night stay, and it is set at $200 per night. Now, for my second example, I'm going to come down to our 1-bedroom apartment, which has a base rate and derived rates. Now, as you may remember from the beginning of the session, you are not able to override a derived rate. So the 5-night stay that I already have created is not going to work because if I try and override the rate, I'm not able to. So for this example, what I'm going to do is close out my derived rates, and then I'm going to set a higher length of stay on my best available rate. So I'm going to select my global change again. I'm going to type in my 5-night minimum stay and then click my Set MLOS button. I'm also going to override the rate because I want to have a slightly higher rate for the Christmas period. So I type in my rate and then click the Set Rate button. So as you can see, there's 2 examples and 2 ways that I can override my minimum length of stay and my rates for certain periods during the year. You could do this for long weekends, school holidays, any time where you want to override what has been set in the original rate. If you would like any assistance or you would like to know how to do something better or more efficiently, please always feel free to contact our support team.